and we'll get
Yeah,
started.
sounds good.
Okay, we have a Division match here between the Clutch, which is coming in with 21 points after Week 1, and Dark Sea Corsairs coming in with 19 points after the first week. So both these teams are at the bottom of their division and need to make up some major points here to be challenging for a spot in the upper division. For the cast today, it is Therax and Dubious Squirrel has joined me here, co-casting, running the lobby, overall being a big help here.
Yep, howdy all.
Yeah, we're going to kick things off in the 1v1 Steiner Coliseum, which is a Solaris map, and it's a duel in Trial Mechs, the Marauder ToS2 champion variant. Players aren't allowed to change a load at all on this mech, so we know exactly what they are running, assuming that everybody's following the rules correctly. So the interesting thing about the Trial Marauder ToS2 is that it has a standard engine instead of the Clan XL engine, which is, more standard, more typical. You would expect the oh, hold on, I don't have your minor issue. There we go. Okay, so it's got a standard engine instead of the extra light engine that we've come to expect on the Clan mech. And what that means is that because two of the ER large lasers on this mech are located in the center torso, if the side torsos are destroyed, the mech can continue fighting. There's no heat spike from losing a side torso either with a standard engine. So I'm expecting that the meta is going to be to shoot the center torso on this drop, potentially going for the legs, but I don't expect players are going to be intentionally trying to remove the side torsos on the Marauder ToS2, which is what normally you would do in quick play when you're expecting that standard engine. Looks like the players are ready, so I guess we could just kick it off here. I don't think there's anything more that we need to cover. I guess one more thing to discuss here with Tournament Stars, it's a point-based league as opposed to a drop wins-based league. Now, winning a drop does give you points, as it should, but you're getting points for kills as well, so a little bit different than some of the competitive formats in the past.
This is command. Eliminate all enemies, no matter the cost.
Yeah, and the way that this first drop is split up, we've got the duel, this thing cutting things off. There's 3 mini drops that make up the larger drop for drop 1, and this 1v1 is worth some points. I still haven't figured out if it's 1 point or 2 points that the winner gets here. And then on the 2v2, each win is a drop, or mini drop win is worth 2 points, and each, let's get in the cockpit here. Each kill is worth 2 points. So, looking in the cockpit here of David Renard, he's moving up. They're not keeping at range to trade with that ER large. They want to get into closer range. Takes the first hit, but a lot of that damage went to the right torso. Return fire, not looking much more accurate. Open side torso already on David Renard. I don't know if that's where the aim was. Oh, side torso's gone. Now, that is a lot of ER meads that are going to be missing and some number of heat sinks. So that is actually a pretty big advantage here, even after I was talking up the standard engine. Indian has an open side torso as well, but the percentages are decisively in the favor of Indian right now. Side torso's gone, percentages more evened out. David Renard has red armor on the center torso and the head. Open center torso and head, so see what gets the kill here. And David Renard goes down from a center torso. So the side torso was destroyed first, but both players took out a side torso before the center torso was the next target. Yeah, the aggressive player was the one that was first taking damage there, and they ended up ultimately losing the drop. So getting that first burn, that's pretty important in when you're playing mirror mechs like that. Up here, is this working? There we go. Just gonna enter in scoreboard. Yeah, so Clutch has a 2 points to none lead against Darksea Corsairs after the first mini drop. Not a very big lead, but kicking things off with a win nonetheless. And just looking at the damage, I mean, 350 damage to 318, so that's basically all we need to know there. It didn't look like there was a major difference in aim between the two players. Yeah, I actually like Mech Factory. I know some people don't. Out of the Solaris maps, it probably was my second favorite. Back in the day when Solaris was still around. I didn't play a whole lot, but I did play a little bit. And Mech Factory is one of those places that I feel teams can play a couple of different styles. You can brawl, there's plenty of cover for that, but you can also try and play a range strat if you get onto the back rafters or something of that nature, or play on the walkways. I think you can make like a AC5 builds type of thing work. We've got this is an assault and a medium, if I remember correctly, for this 2v2. And so that's a bit of an interesting combination here. We could just go ahead and kick this off. Teams are ready, so it's interesting to see whether the assault is going to be pushing up and brawling, or if they try to play on the back wall with range on that assault. And choice of medium is also going to be very interesting to me because a lot of mediums they don't really have the ability to tank a hit from an assault, so they could try to run a fragile medium and outmaneuver the opponent's assault, or they could take something like a Stormcrow and just try to bring something that can take one, maybe two hits from an assault level of firepower before dying. And I'm looking at Darksea Corsairs. They have brought the Kodiak Spirit Bear and Hunchback 2CA. So that tells me brawl with that Spirit Bear, but I'm interested as to what the Hunchback 2CA is bringing. 8 medium pulse, so yes, they are brawling. So, oh, there's 5 SRM6 on that Arctic Wolf, so that has Ghost Heat, but in a brawl like this, they just want to go with a bigger alpha. The interesting thing here on the Kodiak Spirit Bear builds, one is bringing ERPPC as well as the LBX-20, and SRM6 is with Artemis, whereas the Darksea Corsairs Hollow is not bringing that ERPPC, so they have a minor firepower disadvantage there. Hunchback 2CA from Fire Ant taking the first hit from the Kodiak Spirit Bear. Hollow has not turned around. They did not realize where that was coming from instantly. Now, this is a 2v1 though. The Arctic Wolf is not in the fight. Gas Guzzler is twisting off damage. You never want a 2v1 situation in the 2v2. Yeah, center torso open on the Hunchback 2CA, plus side torso is gone. Gas Guzzler is open CT, side torso gone, but there are no kills returned. Darksea Corsairs, both their mechs go down, and neither of the mechs on Clutch go down, so that is a clean victory here. Yeah, and I wonder how much the build difference made there in terms of the Spirit Bear just having a little bit more firepower on the one side. Now that Arctic Wolf did get the back shot on the Hunchback 2CA, so that's maybe where the big advantage kicked off there, just heat capping that Hunchback 2C medium pulses. But yeah, all. Yeah, I think I saw that there was front armor remaining on that destroyed side torso for that Hunchback 2CA. But looking, yeah, these damages ridiculously close though. Um, yeah, that is remarkable. Yeah. So heavy and light, I've seen a little bit of variety in terms of what teams have tried to bring here. And just like watching some internal scrimming as well. So you could take a Cougar and try to do like a range trade type thing. I've seen people try out Piranhas, which is giving up a lot of armor tonnage. Streaks are not banned here. Just a little note. Whenever you're seeing a light mech in play, streaks become viable. So I don't know what teams are going to do here in Div A. And for the heavy, because Boreal Reach can be played as range, we might see a Night Gear. Night Gear is a very strong mech. Or we could see, you know, an Orion 2C masking it up, the hero variant trying to get in there and brawl. Linebackers could be in play. Alright. So both teams are bringing 105 tons here. That tells us a little bit as to their strat. That is rather heavy for a heavy and a light. So I'm smelling Night Gear. Night Gear Incubus, I'm calling that. Night Gear Kit Fox. And then Summoner Jenner 2C. Okay. So that is Brawl versus Range. Night Gear Ultra 2 AC2. There's 7 of those total on there. The Kit Fox is 6 ER Mead. So that is no brawl potential there with that Kit Fox. Jenner 6 SRM 6. And the Summoner has ER PPC, ER Micro. 4 ER Micro because they did not take the G variant. So it's Pop-Tart versus AC2. I would favor Pop-Tart in that regard. But the Kit Fox with the ER Meads can participate while the Jenner cannot. So this is going to be close on the range trades, I would think. Yeah, Night Gear agrees. Night Gear is pushing up already. So they're pushing into a Jenner 2C. Now can the Jenner 2C actually participate? Taking some early damage here, not having anything to do other than hide. A Summoner is not being able to punish this early, this push up by the Night Gear. I fear for the Summoner and Jenner. Jade Kite has taken some rear reg hit there. Summoner's open head. They didn't bring any head armor to start, but I don't think that's a serious concern here. Oh no, the Jenner 2C shut down. Overheated. Now the Jenner 2C is getting in. See if it can do anything here against that Night Gear. Looks like the Night Gear is legged. I'm questioning the choice to go for a leg here on that night gear. It's still putting out a lot of damage here before it goes down to the Jenner finally. Now it's up to a single mech remaining. It's a fresh Kit Fox, but the ER Meads are not going to brawl against those SRM6s. Summoner goes down, so Royal Star picks up some points for their team. The Jenner 2C is very heavily wounded, but that Kit Fox is an open leg as well. Oh no. Well, that's going to have to be very well placed then. Open center torso on that Jenner 2C. I think the Kit Fox is going to have it. Yeah, Kit Fox cleans up that Jenner 2C with that fat center torso. Not how I was expecting it to go, but very well played on both teams. I had... Hold on, I gotta check that again. Yep, they're correct. I did not have you for the, for during the matches. I had the wrong sound selected there. That's 2 sound issues and 2 casts. That is not a good way to kick off this weekend.
Okay, so is that fixed?
Yeah, it should be fixed now.
All right. Hi, everyone. Sorry you couldn't hear me in the last, the last 3 drops. I was talking a bit, but
Yeah, you would have had audio in the lobbies, but not in the drops, which is, yeah, not great.
these kind of issues crop up in casting all the time. So anyway, I hope you can hear me now. And we're moving into drop 2, which is the first of our 5v5 drops. And I've got to make some adjustments here now. Conquest. First map is Solaris. Match time 12 minutes. And I think that's good. So drop to Solaris City 5v5, max tonnage limit 200 tons. And that'll be interesting to see how both teams approach this. I'm figuring it's probably going to be some kind of brawl. I know Vipers are popular on this map, and Arctic Wolves, Sun Bombs.
Yeah, each team has 200 tons, which naturally, you start thinking about 540 tonners. Jump jets are important in the combat location. It's a bunch of low-lying buildings. But there aren't really high, tall buildings nearby, so I don't think anyone's going to take, like, some sort of sky sniper. So I would favor jump jets, but not needing to max out the jump jets necessarily.
Yeah, it depends on the strategy. I mean, you can take slightly longer range weapons, maybe mediums or ER mediums, and then go heavy on the jump jets and get up onto the tallest buildings and try and kite the game out. But if you do that and you're up against Vipers, they're just going to get straight up in your face. So it's always a risk.
Alright, let's pull up a map strat here. We've got a little bit of time.
Yeah, let me see. Solara City, they're fighting over Epsilon. So that's probably where the fights are going to kick off initially.
Yeah, I would anticipate that. What we've got around that epsilon cap point, there's a number of low-lying buildings just behind it, Delta 7, Echo 7. They make for tight alleys if you attempt to go in there and brawl without jump jets. If you have like just the minor amount of jump jets, like the Viper's overkill on that, but Miss Lynx or Arctic Cheetah, even Arctic Wolf, like the Omni Mech variant where you can put some jump jets, easily will clear these buildings. So you could play brawl on top using the buildings to shoot down at opponents that don't have jump jets or to find additional angles as it turns into a bunch of choke points. If you can force your opponents to push through a choke point, maybe separate someone. Now, in Div A, you usually see a little bit more range play. 200 tons, though, I'm not sure that we can see, anything playing range. Like even to get a Hunchback 2CA, you start to run out of tons on anything that can buffer from a fast brawl. We're not going to see something like a Night Gear. Would be just absolutely way too much tonnage invested in a single mech. And there aren't really any good Overwatch positions that I'm aware of around this cap point location because it is located behind a large building that's way too tall to jump up on top of. So I think we're going to just see brawl here. That's what I'm expecting out of these two teams around that epsilon cap point.
Yeah, I agree. I think full mediums and a light probably brawl from both sides.
Yeah. I think that downgrading one of your mediums to a light in order to elevate to a higher tonnage medium or maybe a lightweight heavy could occur. But you're not really looking for a single linebacker that's not a mech that you want to take on its own. Maybe a Mad Dog with streaks or SRMs could be something that these teams might look at playing.
Personally, I don't think I'd want to take anything for this without jump jets. If you get caught on the ground on your own
Yeah.
with no escape route, say you're surrounded by buildings, then you're really in deep trouble very quickly.
What are your low tonnage clan heavies that have jump jets? Like we're talking about a summoner that's already 70 tons. It's too much tonnage on a single mech.
Yeah, I doubt we'll see anything like that. I mean, it could be a SRM summoner. That would be a decent-ish idea.
Yeah, you could bring 2 of those and 3 lights. I mean, I don't know. No, I mean, even that doesn't really work. It's too much tonnage. So are these teams are ready to go, so let's get that map off the screen here and get back into the drop. Sorry, both teams are coming in here. I'm looking at Clutch. They are bringing Vipers and a Shadowcat. Shadowcat's the mech I didn't think of. Now, they brought a Piranha in order to get the tonnage for that Shadowcat. The Viper, heavy machine gun and micro lasers. And same build on the second Viper. Third build on the Viper is going to be small pulse ER micro, so a little bit of build variance there, mixing heavy machine guns with some lasers. Shadowcat is large pulse and light machine gun. They're taking a flank path that tells me they are going to be playing a little bit of a range peek poke game there with that Shadowcat as an Overwatch element. Piranha is standard machine guns and heavy medium lasers.
And yeah, over on the DSC side, 2 Black Lanterns, 2 Mistlings, and an Arctic Wolf, all brawl.
Black Lantern is a very fast mech, no jump jets. So we've got a mix of standard and heavy machine guns on one of those mistlinks. The second mistlink's more standard with heavy machine gun ER micro. And what is the Arctic Cheetah? Arctic Cheetah is, oh, sorry, it's an Arctic Wolf with SRM-6 Artemis and jump jets. We have a call here to go after the Piranha. Piranha is running away.
Good call, kind of, but I think the Piranha's kiting them, and meanwhile they've left Hollow on his own, who's being hunted down by Clutch, and
Yeah.
if he's not careful, he's not going to survive this.
Omnimech Arctic Wolf only goes 97 kph before speed tweak, so it is not going to have the speed to get away like that Arctic, like the Piranha did. That is a quick kill there in the favor of Clutch, using the Piranha for distraction and taking advantage of it. A little bit of return damage on Goss Peeps. I don't know if anything important is open. Whoa, we've got a 4v2 going on over here. Piranha and one of the Vipers were caught. Goss Peeps coming in to help out. Nothing's gone down yet. Hard to tell who's taking damage here with the machine guns and micro lasers going out. We have a Viper down on the side of Clutch. This is now a 4v4. Goss Peeps very low in their Viper here as well. Looks like they are legged. Goss Peeps about to go down. Royal Star in the Mistlinks is also legged. Piranha's in there putting in some damage. Looks like they are still have mobility. Another kill goes down on the side of Clutch. Clutch losing 2 mechs here, or 3 mechs total to the 2 on the Darksea Corsairs that are down. But Royal Star is legged, so Redneck
Interesting
Geek trying
turnaround here after Hollow went down so early. I was expecting Clutch to clean it up, but
yeah, that
ToS2 coming back and putting in a good fight.
You know, even a couple of seconds of 4v2 really turned this around. Now, right now, one of these mechs is non-participatory. The Shadowcat is trying to kite, while the Viper is going in on a 2v1. Royal Star staying alive in that legged Mistlinks, trying to put out some damage, deny a kill here. But Redneck Geek is going to pick up the kill here. There's no way that Royal Star is going to survive this dive. Viper is open both legs. Redneck Geek now legged. So this is going to be about the Shadowcat kiting against Black Lantern and Mistlinks. The Mistlinks has both legs open. The Black Lantern looks relatively healthy in comparison. I can't get the damage readout on that Shadowcat. Looks like they are legged now. Yeah, Proton's legged. So this is over now in the favor of Darksea Corsairs, and Primezo in the Mistlinks pops up, gets the kill. And we've got not a clean fight. Neither team is going to be overly happy with how that played out, I feel.
Yeah, minor mistakes on both sides. I mean, the Piranha did a great kiting maneuver.
Yeah.
Hollow went down early, then the 4v2 was interesting.
Yeah,
But, yeah, you're right. Both teams can take some goods and bads away from that.
Yeah, Hollow went down early in that 5v4 type fight, but then Clutch kind of threw the advantage that they gained with that early pick by chasing into like a 4v2 or whatever that fight ended up being. A little bit rough there, not being together as a group.
Damage is fairly close, but both teams pick up some points. Let's see. Yeah, DSC got 5 points, I think, and then max points for Clutch. Oh no, Clutch, no. I'm misreading this. Clutch got 5 points. And DSC took the round.
Yeah, that's what I've got marked down here. Trying to keep that score accurate. So what I've got overall total on this for the match would be 11 points in the favor of Clutch, as they won more points in the 1v1 and 2v2 portion, and then 20 points in the favor of Darksea Corsairs, coming out big with that first the first 5v5 drop win, drop 2 there. Although Clutch managed to pick up a number of points as well.
Okay, moving on to drop 3, we're on to Grim Plexus. Fighting over Epsilon again, and this time max tonnage is 300.
I guess we can run through the damage real quick from the last drop. Sir Epic Pawner in one of those Black Lanterns coming out with nearly 400 damage, and also picking up a pair of kills. Primos with the Mislinks G that was still alive at the end there. I don't remember if that was the one with the mix of machine guns or not, but they picked up 2 kills with 250 damage. Royal Star and the other Mislinks was legged, but stayed alive for a significant period of time, just didn't manage to survive to the end of the drop. 260 damage in one of the kills. Hollow and the Arctic Wolf managed to put out 130 damage before they went down, so considering the situation they found themselves in, that's not a bad damage total. On the other side, standout damage from the Shadow Cat, Photon with 300 damage, Redneck Geek in the Viper M, that I believe is the laser one, and was still alive toward the end, 277 damage. Both of those players picking up kills for their team, getting them some points. Team damage is a little bit ridiculous here. I don't know if that's a strike in a brawl, or if it's just the machine guns that are raking across everyone, but there are a number of players with somewhat significant amounts of team damage. 45, 26, 25. Yeah, that's more than just bumping into each other's legs in the drop zone. Something happened there.
Yeah, that's quite a lot, but to be fair, it's chaotic on that map.
Oh, absolutely.
With all these, yeah, it's crazy.
And machine guns and micro lasers just blinding everyone's screen. You can't tell if the guy in front of you has a red name tag above him or a blue name tag above them. It's you expect some team damage in these types of brawls, but to see it from Div A teams, that's a little bit higher than what I would have anticipated. Not by a whole lot, though. I mean, you expect at least 1 or 2 players to have double-digit team damage in that style of a brawl.
Certainly doesn't help, so you want to keep it to a minimum, but it can be forgiven and so chaotic. 5
Absolutely.
people running around, all trying to jockey for position.
And
Yeah,
the thing about team damage is you're not aiming for components, specific components, generally speaking. So it's going to be spread damage, which is less valuable than the focus damage that, you know, the intentional shots are going to be putting out. So it's not fair to say that like 1 point of team damage is equal to 1 point of damage to your opponents. That's not the case at all.
No, that's true. The only thing is if you're aiming for your enemy's legs and you're accidentally sweeping your own team's legs, then it adds up. So Grim Plexus, I do like this map. This is one of my favorites. An older map for sure. It's been around for a long time, but a good one.
We could pop up a map strat here. We might have a little bit of time. If I can find it on the list. So it's Epsilon Cap once more over in Fox 9, Golf 9 on a bit of a tabletop of sorts. So teams are spawning, you know, equal distance away, but the approach paths can be a little bit different. For Team 1, probably going to go back line to get in toward the Epsilon Cap in cover if they want to brawl, or if they want to play range, they might go for gas station as an early anchor point before moving up to the Golf 7, Golf 8 tabletop. But there aren't really excellent range overwatch positions over the Epsilon Cap that teams can get to in time from the Team 1 side. Now Team 2 could take the Echo 6 Hamburger Hill. That doesn't have good sightlines on Epsilon. That's a very strong range position, but they're still going to have to dispatch someone to cover Epsilon from the low ground or on the tabletop where they're partially covered by their ranged teammates but not fully. So that's a risky maneuver that I'm not sure either team is going to elect to do here. But I don't see Div A teams both electing to brawl on Grim Plexus, even though the cap point doesn't really favor range. Interesting thing I'm going to point out here is that the Charlie spawn or the Alpha spawn, which are the spawns that are probably going to be ending used here, if you go bypass the Sigma cap and Gamma cap, you can get to the back wall in Fox 10, Golf 10. There's some jump up spots there that something like a Night Gear or a Summoner could take advantage of. The problem is that it's a long walk, and you aren't guaranteed to get into position before you get jumped by brawlers. So even at 300 tons, I'm not sure if we're going to see range here, or if we're going to see something like a linebacker rush.
Some minor lobby drama going on here. Both teams locked up, and then Gas Guzzler DC'd.
Oh no.
So both teams are now trying to agree on how much time they're going to give each other, I guess.
Okay, well, better to see a disconnect in the lobby than at the start of a, or during a match, or
Yeah,
during
that's for
the
sure.
actual drop. I'm not sure what the rules situation here is.
Yeah, I think it's up to the teams to agree with each other. I mean, we're just casting, so we're not refs. We have no
Yeah.
authority to enforce anything, really.
Yeah, you would hope that these teams would be able to work it out amongst each other. There's very little advantage that could be gained here from faking a disconnect in this type of a situation.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case, but
Yeah, just to clarify, I'm not going to accuse either team of it. I'm just trying to think of, you know, any possible reason why one team would get upset at the other team for taking a little bit too much time in this type of a situation. So a short technical delay. Hopefully a short technical delay.
yeah, I hope Gas Guzzler gets back. I'm kind of enjoying casting this match. I wouldn't want it to end early. I'm kind of surprised that Clutch don't have a spare player.
Well, I mean, they locked, so it's a bit of a situation where you're not technically allowed to unlock after you lock, so can they rotate a player in or out? Like, I don't know if there's actually anything in the rule book that covers a lobby disconnect.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like, this isn't a situation that's necessarily been mapped out. So if they do unlock, then can their opponents unlock and change lances or change tonnage or something of that nature?
It looks like they're coming to an agreement. Redneck Geek just asked if they could kick him and fill with another from their roster,
Yeah.
which is the only reasonable solution, I think.
Okay, apparently they've reconnected Discord, so maybe their PC power cycled and maybe they can get them back into the lobby. Oh, okay. Yep, they kicked them out. They're going to bring somebody in to replace them.
I think they're going to re-invite him. It's always nice to see teams being cordial with each other and giving some understanding. It's not always the case, but this is good. Okay, both teams locked for a second time. Let's send it. So, just to recap quickly, Grimplexus, both teams fighting over Epsilon, max tonnage 300.
Yeah, and I'd seen that both teams were dropping slightly under the 300 tons. I believe it was 290 to 295.
Which could be a brawl, but I mean, 5 tons isn't that much to give away, so.
You do want to try and use as much tonnage as possible, but sometimes you're bringing something a little bit more meta that is slightly lighter tonnage. And that can absolutely be a correct choice. I'm looking at Clutch coming in. We've got a Shadow Cat.
Command,
Shadowcats rotated back into the meta after being non-meta for years. 2 large pulse, 6 light machine gun, and a whole bunch of Ryan 2CAs with Brawl. LBX-20, SRM-6 with Artemis. There is a 1 flamer on the deck in those 3 light build variants, and then a Piranha with standard machine gun and heavy medium lasers. Dark Sea Corsairs, we have heavy large lasers, ER Meads, and light machine guns on one of the Shadowcats. Make that both of the Shadowcats are running the same build. There's a third Shadowcat in play. Very popular mech at the moment.
Yeah.
Same build.
And they're rounding out with a Warhammer Maul with 2 Goths and 2 Peeps. So that's their artillery platform.
Yeah. Gauss rifles and PPCs is a common, or previously a common assault mech build for the clans. Usually you would see it on something like a Mad Cat instead, but because of the tonnage here, we're probably seeing the Warhammer 2C taken instead. I know the Mad Cat Mark II has fallen out of favor a little bit on the competitive scene, but I think you would still, if there wasn't a tonnage issue in play, I think you would still pick that over the Warhammer 2C. So Clutch gets the cap here with their Piranha. A little bit of an investment in a faster mech to try and get that cap point. But their Orions are going to be arriving here shortly, and they need to figure out what their push angle is going to be, or if they can just wait out the timer with that cap advantage and try and force their opponents to push in.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised that Dark Sea Corsairs, they seem to be playing a bit passive, not pushing up onto the platform there.
Now, they are playing range receive deck, though, so they need to know where the Brawl is coming from and set up before they, make any move that could lead to disaster.
Yeah, that's true.
They're rotating across Theta through the low ground to get to the gas station. Probably trying to find a flank angle on the Brawlers that I believe they might have spotted by now. Indian in the Shadowcat is taking a very careful peek here. I don't know if they've seen the Orions, but they're taking shots at the opposing Shadowcat. And even if they haven't seen the Orions, sometimes a lack of information is information. If you've only seen a Piranha and a Shadowcat, you know there are 5 mechs on the opposing team, and you know there's a lot of tonnage unused. So you fill in the blanks and you figure out it's got to be something that isn't trading and is very heavy.
So it looks like Clutch are going to spring a trap here onto Epsilon.
Darksea Corsairs are being very cautious, though. Even if they haven't seen the Orion, they are well aware of where they likely are and what they likely are. And we have the Orions pushing out now.
Photon's been giving them detailed scouting information from up there, so I think they've got a rough idea.
Yeah, this Orion push is broken up, though. They're not coordinated. A Gas Guzzler's going in. I don't know what they're doing here. I don't know if they know what they're doing. We have a split push from the Orions that isn't really headed anywhere, just taking armor bleed. I think those Warhammer 2Cs, maybe they were not spotted by Proton in time before that push got off to an abortive start.
Gas Guzzler's taken significant damage to his right torso's orange already.
Yeah, this is nearly over before it even started. The cap points are at 100 in the favor of Clutch to 0 as the Shadowcats are desperately trying to take the cap. They can't get the cap yet, but they got a decap, so that's something. And David Renard is just walking through the open, lost a side torso, and not having a fun drop, I'm going to tell you that. And the Orions are now looking at pushing once more from Clutch. Because they've lost the cap, they have to do something. They can't just sit back and try to re-ambush. And there's only one Orion remaining out of the 3 that initially kicked off the drop. Piranha's gone in on the Warhammers. But the Shadowcats won't have any trouble here cleaning up that Orion. Orion goes down. Piranha is still active, trying to do something here against the 2 Warhammers. One of the Shadowcats come back to deal with the Piranha, as these Warhammers do not have an easy time where they're with the high torso mounts shooting at a Piranha. Piranha's legged. Piranha is down. Last remaining mech for Clutch is that Shadowcat. See if they can maybe pick up a kill here to redeem something on this drop that has gone disastrously for Clutch. You know, well played Darksea Corsairs taking the slow approach, staying wide with their range Overwatch mechs. It's really those the Warhammer 2C Gauss PPC from a strong position that stalled out that initial push. So on the side of the Darksea Corsairs, one of their Shadowcats is heavily damaged at 42%. That is the best that Photon is going to get here in terms of opportunity to pick up a point with the kill.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. His best bet is to go for Primoz in the Shadowcat, but it looks like he's not going to be given that opportunity.
Yeah.
He's trying to kite it out a bit. Oh, he did get a good shot on him. He might take it.
We don't know what kind of scouting information he has right now in terms of knowing who's weak. Trying to kite it out. At some point, you just got to turn and dive because they're going to chase you with the fresh mechs and not the wounded mechs if they, you know, think about it here in terms of point denial. 2 Shadowcats on pursuit. 1 Shadowcat either returning to the Warhammers or there it goes. Photon is down. This is a clean sweep for Darksea Corsairs. This is a mech lab win with a strat win. Patiently playing out to with their Overwatch, not moving it up too early. I'm not sure when those Orions were scouted, but it was well played from Darksea Corsairs, just being cautious.
I think Clutch was a little bit too cautious as well. They could have moved up, been more aggressive. In fact, I'd say they needed to with those Orions.
Yeah, what I don't understand from Clutch is the push was called from the Orions. All 3 moved out, and then they split into 2 different directions. And they seemed surprised by the appearance of the Warhammer 2Cs, as if the Warhammer 2Cs had not been communicated as to their existence or location prior to the push occurring. So
I don't think they were. I think they sat on Hamburger Hill and then they did a wraparound maneuver. So they weren't actually seen until maybe the last minute.
So I mean, Clutch still has to be aware that they haven't seen all 5 mechs. That has to be communicated to whoever's calling the drop before the push is made. I would still think, like, you know, your opponent's bringing 5 mechs. If you've only seen 3, then you know something's not right. But just to see a push called, clearly called, and then go so sideways right away is a little bit surprising to me.
Yeah, taking a quick look at the damage, I mean, what we've just described plays out in the story of the damage figures. 2 Orions went down for only double digits of damage. Sadly underutilized, but
I mean, they just never got into range, and
no, they're not really built for surprise attacks like that. They need to get their damage over time. I mean, their DPS is decent, but you need
yeah.
you need a good few minutes of firing to get it done.
And they can never run down a Shadowcat. Shadowcat's going to be fast enough to kite the Orion, so you have to run at the Warhammer 2Cs, which it's a lot of terrain to cover, but that's the only hope you have once that push is started. You could at least get some partial points there, even if you can't get the kills on the Shadowcats. You can pick up the kills on the Warhammers, perhaps. And every kill is worth points here. We're not in a situation where it's you either win the drop or lose the drop. There's a margin of victory as well that matters, or margin of defeat. You know, if you pick up 2 kills on the Warhammers, you get 3 points instead of the 0. That matters here. The teams are switching sides now. I need to remember to switch an overlay. That's definitely a drop that Clutch would want back, though.
What are the points looking like now?
So what I've got is 11 points for Clutch, as they did fairly well in the 1v1 and 2v2 portion, and then 34 points for Dark Sea Corsairs. So it's not unwinnable for Clutch yet if they come out and pick up a pair of wins in the final two drops here. We're moving on to a 400-ton drop and a 500-ton drop, so the strats change a little bit going into the later drops, but so far it's looking pretty one-sided in the favor of Dark Sea Corsairs. In the 5v5 at least.
400 tons. I think drop 5 is unlimited, isn't it?
Well, 500 or unlimited. There are no mechs that are more than 100 tons in MechWare Online.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what the rulebook says there, but I think it might say 500 instead of saying unlimited. Just in case Piranha, surprise announcement releases one of the super heavy mechs.
600-ton quadruped.
Yeah, I mean, there are super heavy mechs in later eras, but I don't think PGI is going to go out of their way to make a tripod mech model for this game and animation. That'd just be a big mess.
That'd be fun, wouldn't it? Turn it into War of the Worlds.
Yeah. I don't know, there's some crazy stuff in Battletech that just isn't reflected in the MechWarrior Online games. I know there's some fans out there who want the quad mechs to be added into MechWarrior Online.
I'd love to see a quad, just for the fun of it.
Oh,
I mean, it'd have to be stupid slow, like a slightly mobile turret, but...
I mean, the Scorpion would be challenging to play with no torso twist, but it would be a little bit different than what we currently have. I don't know if a mech without torso twist would be viable in MechWarrior Online. That's just...
Oh yeah, it wouldn't have a torso, would it? Or would it?
No. There's some of the quads get turrets eventually, where there's a turret mounted on and some of the weapons are in a turret. But how would you have a turret control in MechWarrior Online where some of the weapons were in the turret and some weren't? And then the earlier era quad mechs do not have turrets. Turrets are like a Jihad era tech or something. So your Scorpion and your which is a 50 or 55 ton quad mech, or the Goliath, which is an 80-ton quad mech. Neither of those have torso twist or turrets on them in the Succession Wars Clan Invasion era. So we have a lock out of Team 1 before I get... They're locking in at 380 tons here for Polar Highlands Conquest on one of the side caps again.
Yeah, interesting. That's not an insignificant amount of tonnage to be dropping. 20 tons.
20 tons.
That's an entire light mech, isn't it? So.
Yeah, that might indicate brawl push.
Hmm.
And on Polar Highlands, I'm not sure if brawling is what you want to do. Are we playing Gamma or Kappa here? We're playing Gamma Cap, right?
Yeah, it's Gamma.
Okay, I'm going to pull up the map strat here. I don't know if we have any time for it or not, but instead of talking about quad mechs, let's talk about maps. Okay, so it's Gamma Cap, way up at the top of the map. There's a mountain over here in Gulf 8, Gulf 9. And because there's a mountain in front of the cap, that basically means that positions that are to the south of the mountain can't really see the cap. So around Theta, which is where you play for quick play, not really relevant. So we'll probably see both teams trying to play swinging wide. It's going to be like 2 or 3 minutes of walking if they're taking slow traders to get out to Echo 7, Fox 7, or Echo 11, Fox 11 for Team 2, and then trading across the Gamma Cap if teams elect to trade. Now, if they're dropping 20 tons light on a 400-ton drop, I'm not sure what they're bringing, because even if they're bringing, executioners and gargoyles, which is what I would suspect for like a brawl push, you would still use up all of your tonnage. So maybe we're seeing linebackers here, but I think both teams are ready to go.
Yeah, both teams are locked, so let's launch. So once again, Polar Highlands fighting over Gamma, tonnage 400. Of course, as we were saying, DSC dropped 20 tons, so we suspect they might be brawling. But
Yeah,
of course, it's difficult to tell.
I'm looking at Clutch right now. Lots of Executioners and a Piranha. So they are taking a light mech to try and rush the cap. I've got ERPPCs, 2 of them on one Executioner, just checking the builds, 3 ERP on a different one, 2 ERP and 2 ERP. So one of the Executioners has 3 ERPPCs, the others all have 2 ERPPCs, and all of them are bringing some number of red lasers for backup. Over on Darksea Corsairs, there are a lot of Blood Asps with ER large or Gauss LPL. So Hollow's got a mid-range Blood Asp there, whereas the other Blood Asp are playing more of an range trade style.
Yeah, interesting mix of blue lasers and some medium range.
Yeah, ERPPCs on both of the rival heroes, which are the Vapor Eagle hero. So Pop-Tart versus Executioners. Executioner can Pop-Tart as well, though. I think Darksea Corsairs is going to end up having to push here. They can't just sit and trade with that ER large versus the ERPPCs on those Executioners. And the cap is definitely in the favor of Clutch to start this off.
Yeah, I was going to say that mount points for the Blood Asps are extremely high and pretty solid for this map.
Yeah, it's an
So
excellent.
they might actually be able to trade against Pop-Tarts if they're good.
Yeah, it's an excellent trade mech for like static, stationary trading. Absolutely horrendous for pushing. But because the cap is in the favor of Clutch, those Pop-Tarters don't have any pressure to do anything other than pop up and deny any attempt to cap every every 10 seconds or something. So if they slow play this with spreading out as they're doing, I mean, just looking at this map, there's a lot of red Doritos in one in each grid. It almost looks like just the one mech, the Piranha near the cap, trying to get some scouting information, taking a little bit of damage in return. So the burn duration on those ear larges and the wide torso on the Blood Asp, I don't know if it's going to be able to win trades against Pop-Tart. We have a cap attempt coming out of one of the Vapor Eagles here. Royal Star's been sent up to try and take the cap back.
Yeah, playing it very cagey on the approach to the cap, which is a sensible idea.
Instantly.
He's being striked, though.
It's an artillery.
He's not going to get any work done on this. He needs to back off.
A little bit of damage taken, 12%. Could be worse.
Could be worse, could be better.
Piranha's coming in to tuck in against the cap here, but there is an angle on the Piranha. Piranha's having to evacuate. One of the Blood Asp is now going to push up. The Blood Asp is way too fat to take that cap, but they can provide that close range fire support. That's the Gauss large pulse laser one from Hollow. They don't have a small mech that can tuck in behind the cap point here for Darksea Corsairs. Like, the Vapor Eagle is too fat to hide on the cap. And there's no way the Blood Asp is going to be able to do it.
Fire and getting a bit of damage now from the left-hand side.
Piranha's looking for a flank.
Looks like Legol in the Piranha's trying to do a flanking maneuver here.
This cap is almost decapped. The Blood Asp actually succeeding at that surprise decapping attempt. They are getting pushed off here, but they got significant work done on that. A little bit of armor bled, nothing critical yet. The other Vapor Eagle, the healthier one, now coming in for a decap attempt. That's Indian.
Yeah, that's good. That's important. Stop the cap lead.
Decap successful.
We have Gamma.
And manages to cap it. Wow. 113 cap points in the favor of Clutch. That's not quite enough. So Clutch is now in a position where they will have to be more aggressive. I'm surprised they didn't get that decap. Their executioners, which were spread earlier, they did group up a fair bit. Just didn't have the angles anymore. Piranha is being chased out of its position that it was attempting to flank on, taking a little bit of damage.
Yeah, India needs to be careful. He can't overcommit here, which he is.
25% down, but nothing. Yeah, Indian and Royal Star might have gotten themselves in a pickle here. We have a pair of executioners and that Piranha returning some fire with light machine gun heavy mediums. In the meantime, a Blood Asp is putting more time onto that cap. Clutch.
Clutch are wrapping around. I'm not sure how much of this that ToS2 is aware of.
Yeah, Clutch is grouping up to make a push here, though. Now
Yeah.
they've decided not to go in on the left. They're now looking at going in on the right. Nothing's open on any of their mechs, but Darkseid Corsairs also looks relatively healthy on the majority of their mechs, even though they did put some mechs on the cap point. They didn't bleed that much armor out.
This is where Darkseid Corsairs Blood Asps may be well served backpedaling.
Yep. Yeah, I think Clutch has to actually just group up and push, because if they get into the range where their red lasers work, they'll have a DPS advantage. But if they stay and try to trade with the large pulse laser Gauss, Blood Asp in particular, these types of short range peaks, that is not going to favor Clutch. Piranha came in to do some more damage, and now 40% there, running away, still has its legs. Side torso is open for Indian's rival. Royal Star's down to 60%. The push is coming around on the left, but it is going to have trouble catching those rival Vapor Eagles, as they do have the mask to run away.
The Piranha's actually halved.
Still has its legs, so can go for a cap in the last minute if it comes down to that. Where there's a 5-death situation, but a mech needs to go capping. Oh no. Clutch has conceded this high point here to sort Epic Pawner and Hollow. This is an excellent fire position, but I did not expect anyone to be able to claim it, as I expected mechs would be behind the cap to deny it. But with that rotation over toward the Theta side of the cap here, Clutch has conceded an excellent firing position to their opponents.
Yeah, very good firing position. Gives great advantage for ToS2. This may be a game winner.
Yeah, that might be the decider here, is just that conceding such a strong trade location to the opponents. Percentages are low on Darkseid Corsairs. Clutch did lose a pair of mechs there in that chase. They still have some relatively healthy mechs remaining. They might be able to pick up some quick kills here. But the cap points have now flipped in the favor of Darkseid Corsairs. They do have a cap lead, and we're down to the last 3.5 minutes or so. We have Executioners in brawl range. Hollow dropped down to engage. I don't know about that decision. Sir Epic Pawner is also dropping down. Very low percentages here. Photon needs to get back in there. They can't just back out. This is do or die. You got to get those ER micros in play. But Photon has 3 ER PPCs, so they are a much hotter and lower DPS build than their other teammates with the Executioners here. Gas Guzzler coming in.
What's going on? They gave up their high ground position, and one of them dropped down, and that forced a dive, and now they're 2 mechs down. Still with the advantage.
You have to respect those red lasers. The DPS they put out in 150 meter or less engagements is ridiculous.
You really don't want to be facing that that kind of range in a blue laser Blood Asp.
Gas Guzzler, though, is trying to play range here where they have a disadvantage, and they've lost a side torso. No ER PPCs left on Gas Guzzler. Now Photon's pushing in. I think it's a little bit too late now. Too much armor's bled out on those Executioners. Yeah, Fire Ant is fresh. I don't know about Indian dropping down with only machine guns on their Vapor Eagle. Royal Star is heavily wounded, but still has all of their weaponry. side torso off on that Vapor Eagle. Gas Guzzler's going in, trying to take a kill here. Does not get the kill. Both of those Vapor Eagles, basically the Walking Dead, and Fire Ant is fairly fresh there. So this is a win for Darksea Corsairs, but that was an interesting drop. I thought the advantage flipped back and forth a few different times during that drop.
Yeah, I agree with that. That was an interesting drop. Damage looks actually pretty even between both teams, so that was a hard fought battle. Yeah, I like it. It was good.
Almost nobody walked out of that unscathed. Both those
Apart from
Vapor
Fire Ant,
Eagles.
I'm not sure how he survived so long and being so fresh, but
Yeah.
he probably just maintained rage, which is what you want to do in his build. So, yeah, good play.
Darksea Corsairs only picked up 3 points on that. If they managed to kill one of the Vapor Eagles, that would have jumped them up to picking up 5 points in the loss. So did I see Darksea Corsairs? I meant Clutch. Clutch picked up 3 points there. Just taking a quick look at the damage dealt here. Royal Star in one of those Vapor Eagle rivals with 600 damage. Pretty impressive for a 55-ton mech in that drop. Sir Epic Pawner in one of the Blood Asp putting up 600 damage. Fire Ant and Hollow also playing Blood Asp with 450-ish. Indian in the Vapor Eagle rival only putting up 250 damage. I did notice that they were missing their ERPPCs. I don't know at what point they lost them. But with a lower damage total there, that might be the reason behind that. Looking at Clutch's damage, Photon with the Executioner, that was the 3 ERPPC build if I remember correctly, so they're doing quite well trading, putting out 600 damage, but didn't manage to pick up any of the kills. Gas Guzzler and Goss Peeps putting up 450 damage, also in the Executioners, and then the Piranha from Legal putting up 280 damage in that Piranha, which is rather impressive with just having to work to find an angle in order to get that damage. Basically, they were taken as a cap bot is what I would anticipate, just a gambit to get the early cap and try to play a range game there, which didn't quite succeed for Clutch. A good strat. I would give them a strat win, but they did not end up with the match win or the drop win. But yeah, that Piranha managed to find an angle to get damage.
Yeah, he certainly did. He made a nuisance of himself, which is really what you want to do as a Piranha. He was running medium lasers, I think.
Light machine
Yeah,
gun
mediums,
and
yeah.
3 heavy meats, I think.
Oh, 3 heavies, all right.
Yeah.
So he did some good work. Final map, drop 5, Hellbore Outpost. Back to fighting over Epsilon.
And once again, we have a couple of minutes. Might as well pop up the map strat. Just need to find where it is.
Yeah, let's take a look at that. I'm not a huge fan of this map. It is relatively new to comp scene. I mean, it's been played over and over again in quick play since it's been released, but I don't see any real standout strats for this, apart from take the high ground and snipe.
Yeah, I'm a little bit confused myself as to what does or does not work on this map. So what I've seen is teams trying to take high ground behind the cap point and then going on top of the platform as well with a range receive type stuff. But there aren't I don't know about the sight lines in the area, if you can actually pull that kind of a strat off against an opponent who's going to take, like a brawl or mid-range type deck. And then if you take it with mid-range yourself, and then your opponents maybe play like an extreme range concave using high ground with range trade, your AC-10s are probably not going to work against Gauss ear large trade. But if you bring Gauss ear large and put him up, then and you get push, I don't know if you've got the DPS. So I really don't know what's going to happen on this map. This isn't one that I don't think that the teams that I've watched do it have it figured out.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Darkseid Corsairs are now locked. Once again, they're giving up 20 tons.
480 tons. I mean, could be that they're taking. Did they use up their executioners last drop? No, that was Clutch that had the executioners.
Yes.
So
Yes, they did. They yes, they did.
wasn't it Clutch?
No, hang on. No, they were running the Blood Asps.
Yeah.
Clutch used their executioners.
So when I see a team dropping under tonnage on the 500-ton drop, I'm thinking executioners instead of Kodiaks and direwolves. But that doesn't quite explain the 480. Well, I mean, maybe. It could be 4 executioners and a direwolf or a Kodiak. That would work.
Yeah, it could work. I'm not a huge fan of the Kodiaks or the direwolves. The direwolf's so damn slow, and the Kodiak's got CT like a barn door. But
and this map favors jump jets as well. Hellbore Outpost, very vertical, so the executioner is probably a strong pick here. Executioner is a pretty flexible mech in terms of builds as well. You can take Pop-Tart, you can take like a ER large trade or LPL mid-range vomit type stuff. And you can also go brawl with it depending on how many red lasers you elect to take. There's some build variety that kind of change up its roles a little bit while maintaining
it is quite
its flexibility.
versatile. Plus, it gets mask and jump jets. Yeah, it's a solid mech.
Oh. We've got Clutch has green boarded here at 335 tons. They did not lock in, though. But the fact that they were seemingly considering it, they have locked. This is going to be interesting. We have a major difference in terms of the tonnage here between these two teams.
335 with an upper limit of 500. That's got to be brawl.
Yep. Yeah, there's no way it isn't brawl, and the other team will have definitely taken note of that. 335 out of 500 tons. They are giving up 165 tons to their opponents. I mean, their opponents are also down 20 tons, but the difference is still absolutely massive.
It is. That's night and day, nearly.
Alright, I'm going to be looking at Clutch as they come in here. Clutch is bringing rival Vapor Eagles and Blood Asps. Let's get the builds up. Vapor Eagle is light machine gun, ERPPC. They have... second Vapor Eagle is actually AC-10 ERPPC. So build variety there. That's large pulse laser on the Blood Asp, Gauss large pulse on the Blood Asp, and we've got an Ice Ferret on the field. There's no jump jets on that. I don't know what's going on here. Gauss Peeps is bringing Clutch's Totem Mech, the Rainbow Crow, with heavy large ER Mead. Anyone who does quick play at the higher tiers will be familiar with that. See what they can do with it.
Darkseid Corsairs bringing their executioners for this drop. A mixture of ER, PPCs, lots of backup weapons, so they are quite well positioned to receive and brawl as well. And a direwolf. One of their Xes has LPLs.
Okay, so the LPL XE can do mid-range trade or push in and brawl. The direwolf is AC5 ER PPC, so that is not an extreme range trade direwolf. That is more mid-range with a fair bit of DPS, it could end up pushing. I want to watch this Ice Ferret coming in here on the back lines, going for that hard flank, see if they can pop a side torso to start things off or something. And we are watching Goss Peeps climbing in. Nobody's going to be looking this way. I mean, they're not going to notice that a single mech is missing. They do know that the tonnage is quite light, so they know something is up, but they're probably expecting a brawl rush, not a backstabbing Ice Ferret. Fire Ant is the victim. Fire Ant takes significant damage to the rear, but it was spread between the torsos, I do believe. There was nothing destroyed there on Fire Ant's mech.
No.
Center torso and side torso both took damage. But now everyone's turned around to look for that Ice Ferret, and the caps are taking in the favor of Clutch right now. Now, can this Ice Ferret find a second? Well, there's a second shot, but it was toward a side torso, I believe. Direwolf was the victim there. Direwolf has taken rear damage, but I believe that's from a strike. Now, one of the executioners is looking for that Ice Ferret, and the only angle they've got right now is side torsos on the Direwolf, not rear side torsos, but frontal armor. Direwolf is dropping.
Peeps actually doing surprisingly decent damage to Epic Pona in the Direwolf.
We have a fight over at
at
Epsilon. Legal's got to get out of here. They are being pushed as the cap is being flipped. 3 executioners. Darksea Corsairs has been forced out of the high ground. The Direwolf is attempting to retreat. Ice Ferret's doing work. Direwolf open on both legs, does not have jump jets, I take it, and took some leg damage there.
Yeah, he's in the low ground now, not a good place for a Direwolf, especially with his build. Down to 50%.
Direwolf has lost a side torso.
Ouch.
That'll take out the cooling for those ERPCs and a lot of the DPS off the AC5s that are missing. That Direwolf is basically, I mean, not really going to be doing that much more. Clutch is doing it. They are down on the cap, so, you know, it's not over. Not by any stretch. Hollow is one touch rear torso. Gonna have to be very careful there not to take another shot in the back. The Gull's Vapor Eagle, that is the AC-10 ERPPC one, has taken a lot of damage, but is in a high ground position. They are being hunted by Clutch. We'll see if Indian can climb up here and get the back shot. That's a lot of elevation that Legal has in their favor here, but they are taking damage.
It's not helping him though. He's taking a lot of damage. He needs to move off there if he can. Now he's making a move. All right, that's sensible.
Ice Ferret's come back to the cap point here to try and cover the retreat of Legal's Vapor Eagle. Vapor Eagle's lost a side torso. Legal looks like they're going to go down here, but there is a lot of damage on the side of Darksea Corsairs mechs that are pushing.
Yeah, I think Hollow's going to pick up the kill on Legal. Those backup weapons doing their work.
There it goes. And Goss Peeps Ice Ferret does not have jump jets and has speed, but there's a lot of open terrain to cover to try and get out of here. Trying to get to teammates, taking a lot of damage. CT's open on the Ice Ferret. Royal Star is also low percentage. Goss Peeps goes down. I believe they overheated. Royal Star goes down. It's a 3v3 right now. Caps are favoring Darksea Corsairs. Clutch has the angles though. These executioners are slow pushing one mech after another. Every time they're pushing out though, they are taking burns from the Overwatch mechs from Clutch. Gas Guzzler has an excellent angle here, although the mechs are moving out of their range. David Renard is the next victim here of this executioner push. Now Hollow's overheating, running very hot with ERPPCs. Side Torso has gone on Hollow. Hollow is powered down. However, the Blood Asp is also powered down. The two opponents are bowing to each other. We'll see who gets the kill here. Hollow self-destructs. David Renard's powered back up, taking a shot, and then goes down. We've got 2 Fafnirs remaining. Side Torso's open on Indian, and they've also lost one of their arms with all those red lasers.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting final phase. 2 executioners, 1 quite heavily damaged.
Yeah. Indian,
Versus,
I think
Vapour Eagle and Blood Asp.
I think the slow push has to stop here. It's still 4.5 minutes. There is a significant cap lead, though. If they can get somewhere where they're not taking incoming fire, Darkseid Corsairs could pull off a cap win. I don't know if there's enough time remaining for Clutch to get enough cap points before the timer runs out if Darkseid Corsairs can keep one of their mechs alive.
What is the cap limit?
So cap limit is 750, but you can only take additional caps when I believe it's 750. I'd have to check the rulebook, but you can only take additional caps when all 5 of your opponent's mechs are dead. So Fire Ant is the only remaining mech for Darkseid Corsairs. Caps are ticking in Darkseid Corsairs' favor. So if Fire Ant can find a way to avoid taking damage, but they're trapped in between 2 mechs in a low ground position, I don't know if they can get out of this. One of the Blood Asp is pursuing. I've lost track of the other. There's the Vapour Eagle. Vapour Eagle rival from Photon. Significant damage to the rear torsos and probably heat damage. 59%, but still has all of its weaponry.
Fire Ant defending the cap. Here we go.
Now, Blood Asp is going to be pushing on Fire Ant. Side torso is open on Gas Guzzler. I believe that is the large pulse laser side torso. Fire Ant's lost something here. And Fire Ant goes down. Gas Guzzler is going to survive. Now, it is 206 caps. It's going to be 210 or so before it's decapped to 68. And there's 3 minutes remaining. The Vapour Eagle is running off for a cap point. Blood Asp has lost a side torso, which does reduce their speed. That might end up being applicable here.
3 minutes, well, 2 minutes 40 seconds now, and the cap points are quite well spread apart.
Yeah, Vapour Eagle's getting onto Theta.
Yeah, they're really going to have to hustle if they want to take the cap win as well.
Blood Asp is going to have to make a sprint to Gamma. I think that there's enough time and enough legs remaining here on Clutch's side to get the cap win. But they're going to have to use some efficient pathing and not overmask their Vapour Eagle. There's no leg damage, internal structure leg damage yet on the Vapour Eagle rival, so we're not concerned yet about it blowing its own legs off. I think that they'll get Kappa with the Blood Asp and Gamma with the Vapour Eagle in time here. Still 1 minute and 40 seconds remaining. They already have 60 cap points at the start of this. Now they're up to 120, so I do believe they have it. Clutch appears to have the win here. Photon did indeed take some leg damage with their masking to get to the cap point. Probably a correct decision.
Did a little bit. I think they may have it. Still a minute left, 3 caps.
Yeah, Blood Asp has almost made it to Kappa here. Vapour Eagle can probably make it to Sigma before the timer ends, but I don't know if that even matters. So Clutch ends up picking up a drop win in this match. Very hard fought. They dropped down significant tonnage. The Ice Ferret put in work, and they do pick up the win.
Yeah, it works for them. Very close game. Once again, well fought, both teams. So it's been a pleasure to cast.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, or joining me and the viewers and teams. I mean, I guess it's an us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Hey, I'm always looking for co-casters. If anyone out there is listening, I could use a co-caster for this afternoon in about 2 hours from, or sorry, 30 minutes from now, I could use a co-caster. Let's get the stats up on the screen here. So Clutch manages to pull it back a little bit with that last drop. Overall, the match did not get the results that they were looking for this week. I do not believe, but they did pick up one of the wins in the 5v5. Going through the damage totals from the previous drop on Hellbore Springs, we have Fire Ant from Darksea Corsairs in an Executioner with 750 damage. Very well done. A bit of a standout on the team there in terms of raw damage. Hollow with 450 damage in an Executioner, Indian with 400. Royal Star only picking up 178 damage there, or 177. Just, not finding the work, going down a little bit early. Sir Epic Pawner and the Direwolf taking some early damage, having to drop, losing side torso. Not their day. Just absolutely not what they had drawn up when they took that Direwolf. The Ice Ferret causing significant disruption to the plans of the Darksea Corsairs. On Clutch's side, top damage is David Renard with 780. Gas Guzzler comes up with 700. Photon in the Vapor Eagle, living toward the end there with 600 damage total. Well played on those flanks. Gauss Peeps and the Ice Ferret did go down, but put out 500 damage first, and just ruined the strat for Darksea Corsairs, which I've mentioned a few times, but it's important to note just the disruptive element that single Ice Ferret managed to cause. The Gull and the Vapor Eagle putting out a respectable 300 as well.
Yeah, good analysis. That Ice Ferret early on, forcing the Direwolf to drop into the low ground was a brilliant move. It really caused big disruption.
And that Direwolf probably had stripped legs, and then with the fall, I noticed that both their legs were open in yellow after they dropped. So that
was a big drop. It must have caused significant damage.
Yeah, I don't know if that played into the loss of the side torso at all. I wasn't spectating at that particular instant, but still, you don't take a Direwolf to play on the back ridge line and then throw it off a cliff unless if you're forced to.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So what we've got here, I think my points are accurate. It's up to the referees to determine that in the end. But I've got it marked down 53 out of a possible 70 points for Darksea Corsairs. Clutch comes in with 28 points, picking up big points in the last drop there. Overall match win goes to Darksea Corsairs for the point totals here, but 28 points is not a bad number of points to be picking up in a loss. So reasonably well done for Clutch, and I did very much enjoy that last drop out of Clutch here. And
yeah, very good match, good drops all around. So Darksea Corsairs are going to be taking 5th spot now. Clutch picked up some points, but they're going to move down to 6th place.
Yeah, I mean, depending on how things shake down in other matches that are yet to be played, but that these teams are potentially on the bottom half of this Division A right now, is what it looks like after these results. And we'll see how it goes with the remaining 3 weeks of the league. I'm going to wrap it up here. So Dubious Squirrel was co-casting with me, Therax, your main streamer here for today. Thanks for joining me. And thank you for the teams for allowing us to cast their match, and for the viewers showing up and supporting the MechWarrior comp scene and these teams in general here. I have another match coming up that I'm streaming in about a half hour from when you hear this, perhaps a little bit less. It's another Division A match between, we have, who was it that I've got? 5th Jaguar Dragoons and Imperion? No, I'm streaming Equilibrium and the Gatos Galactophorius. You know what? Triple G. It's the Sky Ranges of Terra with a new name and a new logo. So that will be coming up here in about 25 to 30 minutes. So stick around, give the channel a follow, and that's it. I'm going to wrap it up. Anything you want to say before I cut the stream?
No, just it's been fun casting, and good night, everyone. Have a good time. See ya.
All right, that's that.